To Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, Ibadan. Amuluayemi Adelakun. For millions of Nigerians, few issues are felt more directly than the cost of fuel. This morning, our Daybreak just focuses on growing frustration among motorists who are questioning why petrol prices remain high despite reports of declining crude oil prices in the global market. The concerns have reignited debate about deregulation, market forces, pricing transparency, and whether consumers are truly benefiting from shift in the international oil market. If global prices are falling, why are many Nigerians still paying so much at the pump? And what factors really determine the price of petrol in today's economy? Those are some of exploring this morning.
And Amanulu Akpo, in a short while, we'll take you through the newspaper headlines, where today's front pages reflect the issues shaping national conversations from politics and governance to the economy and public policy. We highlight the major stories and the questions they raise as the day unfolds.
Definitely. Then our big story will look beyond Ekiti State and towards the bigger political picture. Our discussion is titled The Ekiti Election and the 2027 Question, Lessons for Nigeria. Elections are often viewed as contests for power, but they can also serve as indicators of broader political trends. Voting patterns, campaign strategies, party structures, and voter expectations often reveal important signals about the direction of national politics. What lessons can political actors draw from development in Ekiti? Could the outcome influence calculations ahead of the next general election? And what does it tell us about the evolving relationship between voters and political parties? Joining us for this conversation is Honorable Molajo Lawi, APC's stalwart.
And right before we round off today, we'll visit some of the conversations and issues that continue to generate public interest across the country.
Political fortunes may rise and fall with elections.
But the deeper story is often what those elections reveal about the mood of the people. This morning, we'll look beyond the headlines. Good morning to you.
Exactly. Good morning, Anna. It's a new week. Today is Monday and we have quite a number of things to talk about. But our gist for this morning says motorists berate oil marketers over high cost of petrol despite global price drop. So this is a big issue in Nigeria, and then it's not even about the price of fuel alone. So when price drop, across all sectors, maybe in the market, product, it will take a miracle for that to reflect in what the marketers will sell in the next few weeks. Because some will argue with you that, okay, before there was a drop in price, we had stock, we had product, we bought in large quantities. So you cannot expect us to, just say we want to sell at that price because of the drop in price. So we just have to make sure that we don't run, loss too much. And that's why I want us to go through this topic this morning, because according to this news, according to the news agency of Nigeria, the price of crude oil in the global market dropped from $150 per barrel to below $80 per barrel. And of course, Dangote refinery followed suit, and then there was a 75% reduction, in his own price as well. And then some filling stations have actually been selling at a lower price. They reduced their own price as well at the pump. But some are saying it is difficult for us to follow suit. Why? Because we bought large quantities. And so it will take time because of operational costs and some other factors. It will take time for us to sell at the price that other filling stations are already selling. And that's the issue, because the motorists are complaining. Even people who pay transport fares, they're also complaining that why is it that some are already selling at this price while others are still maintaining the original price, the old price, and it's affecting us. We also want to pay less, when it comes to drivers, when it comes to the bike men and the cab drivers too. So that's the problem that we're talking about this morning.
Well, I think it's not a motorist or a marketer thing. It's a Nigerian thing. And why I'm saying that is because it's a systemic issue. It's a systemic problem. So even when motorists are saying, why can't you drop the price? are they ready to also drop the price that they take an average? Because we understand in this country that once a price is almost like a no-brainer. Everybody knows this. Once the price of a commodity increases in the country, to go down is a problem. Even when everything is obvious that yes, this thing should actually go down, it will not go down easily. And it has become a system. It's become an order in the country. It's become something that is followed every now and then. So it's not just about the marketers, especially the petroleum marketers and all of the independent marketers we have. It's also about the system in the country. Because if they reduce the price, are we sure that motorists will reduce the price? And again, people who go to the market sellers too, will they reduce the price of items too? Because they say, you know how much it takes to transport this thing from the market or from the farm to these points, to the place where they are selling. And then you wonder, there's a chain. It's like everybody understands the idea that once there is a loophole in the system, everybody's trying to grasp something. So if there's a system failure, everybody's trying to look out for how can it benefit me, and people do not care who sucks is God in that sense. So I see this a lot of times, even at organizations, you see private establishment, public establishment. You see once the government says there should be maybe a BVN and people should start registering, whoever is at the helm of that affair will want to look out for ways to extort people, and we do that oftentimes because it's become a thing, even in political every sector in the country. So that's what I'm saying. It's a systemic issue. It's not just a marketer issue. But again, looking forward, what should be the solution? If I was to prefer a solution to this, what I would say is that can we have systems in place that can check these things? For example, the Standard Organization of Nigeria is there. Some other departments of government that should look into how much you sell what you sell, if it's in tandem with what you should sell, because people make profits without caring who is going to pay for it at the end of the day in the country, because there's no system to check whether or not what you're doing is in standard practice. Nobody checks that. So everybody believes I can put the price for whatsoever I sell and it does not matter. Nobody cares to check what I do, right? And I think we should have systems in place, and that's why I keep saying institutionalization is very important. Have institutions, have systems that can check into what people are doing, how much price they sell these things. For example, there's a particular issue, some years back, there's something called agricultural subsidy. The United States government started paying agricultural subsidy to farmers, and they started checking how much you sell per product. And it's very important they put a quota. You can't sell above this, because this is a system that checks what because you have done this to help you as well, to subsidize for how much you also engage in farming and all of that. So I think it's a thing that we can work on, but it has to be a systemic approach to solving this issue, and that's what I think from my end.
Exactly. I think you're very spot on, absolutely spot on, that we need to manage that, because just like I mentioned in the beginning, if you go to the markets today, so some companies will say we want to reduce, or let me say if some manufacturers decide to inflate their prices by 10%, and at the end of the day, maybe a month later, they decide to reduce the price, maybe to like 5%. It will take weeks or even months for some sellers to actually comply with that. Because why? They will tell you they have goods, they have hundreds of bags in their store, so they cannot sell at that price yet. But then I think the government can find a way to regulate, the price, regulate issues like this, so that it will not affect the people at the end of the day. And it's a fine place to leave this discussion this morning. Thank you for being a part of this segment. We take a short break, and when we come back, we move on to newspaper headlines and analysis. We'll be right back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at DominionCast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice. LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Casts. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice. 506-1061 or 0916-101-1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Casts. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
Welcome to this segment of Headlines, where we check into the print and bring you stories that are breaking and developing across the country, Nigeria. And today of interest is many, particularly one story on insecurity about the Orire children that were abducted with their teachers. It seems there's something that is a development and somewhat looks green for the country. Insecurity to top agenda as senators reconvene tomorrow. That's on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. That story is of interest. Akpabio Oshiomole feud may deepen. That's also about the Senate. And ex-Edo governor not a reason for reconvening. That's coming from a Senate spokesman. Also a story you find on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, the front page this morning. And lawmakers free to move motions on any subject. That is also to conclude on the story of the reconvening of the senators today. Plenary. Now we move on to other stories that are making the rounds. Orire abduction is, of course, the front is making the front pages on the spotlight this morning, and it says troops closing on kidnappers' hideout. That's the story, but it's an expansive more. So if you check just yesterday, there were instances of the Igbo community as well as Orire. There were different conversations moving around town about some even saying that the children have been, reconciled back to their parents, have been brought back, but that's not true. But what we have now is that there seems to be a blockage for the terrorists who are in the forest with those kids, and then they have lowered their demands. It seems there's progress, but we want the progress to be a bit faster. It's about over 38 days now that those people have been in captivity, and there's just one word on the lip of every Nigerian: bring back the students and their teachers. And that's the conversation right there. Meanwhile, Tinubu Oyebamiji APC celebrate Ekiti governorship victory. Meanwhile, if you also follow the story, you see that The governor of Ekiti State has been re-elected, of course, Oyebamiji, right there, as you can see on your screen this morning. Some conversations is its validation of Tinubu's government. That's coming from Oyebamiji himself, saying that his victory is a validation of Tinubu's government. NBA applauds peaceful orderly polls, and the Ekiti election reflects polling unit results. That's coming from Yaga Africa, an independent electoral should we say whistleblower or investigators. We have them. Of course, that's about that story. Meanwhile, on Earth, saliva tests can predict dangerously sleep-deprived persons. That's coming from scientists as well this morning. To take you far away to the Middle East this morning, Labour braces for change as UK Prime Minister Starmer's exit. Okay, this is about the UK story. They say possible exit for the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, as well as we also we keep focus on these stories and many others and bring you up to speed as they progress from the newspapers. Now, moving on from the Nigerian Tribune now to Vanguard newspaper and see stories that are well represented on the front page this morning. The Vanguard has the story: troops block escape routes as terrorists reduce demand. That's on the conversation spotlight today. Troops block escape routes as terrorists reduce demands. Kidnap kingpin indigene of Orire local government radicalized by Ansaru group, and police Igbo clash over release of kidnapped victims. That's also a conversation I want to check on page 30 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. How APC swept Ekiti governor, 5 by-elections, lost Rivers to PDP, 6 out of 7. That's the conversation on the top corner of the Vanguard newspaper. On the oil sector, reps threatened sanctions over poor PIA implementation. Also something to look out for in the oil sector, particularly in the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Frustration hits farmers over sharp rise in input cost. That's about the wet season farming. That's on economy this morning and food security. Now, terrorists invade Kebbi community, burn buildings, abduct residents. Just when we are saying eureka for something, we're saying eureka for something here, there's another development somewhere else, and it's of course a far cry from what we expect and what we hope for in the country. But we'll keep our fingers crossed and keep praying if we can do more to see what becomes of all of this in the next few days. We want peace in the country, and I don't think that is too much to ask from the government. Meanwhile, some other stories are still making the rounds across the newspapers this morning about the reps threatening sanctions over senior PIA implementation. That has been a thing to look out for. Over poor PIA implementation, there's been that conversation back and forth at the Senate level, at plenary, about what should be done and what should not be done. But about the Ekiti state election, it was quite a thing to discuss. Many instances, of course, maybe there were a bit of chaos in certain places, but it was not enough to say, yes, it wasn't a credible election. Of course, it was a free, fair, and credible election according to different reports that we have. But maybe you would say that there's no perfect election, there's no perfect system, perhaps, is why you might want to say, yes, let's cut them some slack. It was because it was a kind of a landslide, if you have to check the numbers, because you see, Oyebamiji actually won different or many places, many regions in that particular state. But there's conversation also linking to the presidency, particularly the administration of the president Tinubu, that people are saying maybe this is a reflection of how well they've worked. This is a reflection of how they have been doing their grassroots work and campaigning and all that. But time, they say, will tell. We'll keep our fingers crossed and see what will become of that and many more. Of course, for maybe just to say a few more other stories, Justice Lifu action on affront to court hierarchy. That's coming from an appeal court on New Telegraph this morning. It says Justice Lifu action is an affront to court hierarchy. And that is the story that is coming from the appeal courts. You can find that story on page 356 of the New Telegraph newspaper. State's execution of judgment against ADC and 4 others. Also something to look out for today. Of course, many other stories will still make the rounds as we keep tabs on them. But for one of time, we have to shove this and move on to the next segment, which is the big story. The conversation is also about the Ekiti state election. You need to listen to that and watch that this morning. But that will be shortly after this break. Stay with us.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominioncast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominioncast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice. 61. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at Dominioncast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
Democracy is not just about voting, it is about learning from every election and preparing for the future. It's the big story, and I'm Oluwayemi Adelakun. As political activities gradually gather momentum ahead of the 2027 general elections, attention is turning to key off-cycle elections across the country. One of such is the Ekiti governorship election, a contest that many analysts believe could offer valuable lessons on voter behavior, party strategies, governance, and the future of Nigeria's democracy. Today we ask, what does the Ekiti election tell us about the road to 2027? What lessons should political parties, candidates, and citizens take from the process and its outcome? And to help us unpack these issues is Honorable Molajo Lai, APC stalwart, but he's not in the studio yet. And of course, he will join us very soon. But before he's around, I have with me Anuluapoidu, and together we'll make sense of some of the issues of the last election in Ekiti State. Welcome on board.
Yeah, thank you. I think one of the standout facts for me was that there was a bit of election, should we say, the election was a bit fair, according to independent observers, Yaga, for example, and a bit more persons. And I saw also that, according to what we have, about 99% of the people who voted valid votes. And that maybe that speaks a lot to, voter sensitization, voter education in that particular place, because oftentimes I've seen elections where you see quite a number of percentage going to people who did not vote right. I've actually been I've conducted an election before in one of the states in this country, and it was so shocking that many persons do not have this education. You tell them what to vote or how to vote, and then they still flout the rules, and so that vote becomes invalid. But according to what we have, 99% of the total vote that was cast was actually cast right. So I think that for me is a development, and I think I love it. And also the fact that people came out en masse again to vote. It was running into thousands, and I think I love the fact that those happened. And I want to give maybe just a bit of thumb up to the INEC body particularly, and every other person that was in charge of that election, every state actor, non-state actor that was there to do something or the other. But again, maybe just to look at the numbers too, it was quite a landslide.
I mean, that's what we're going to talk about very shortly. Let's have it displayed on the screen, because we want to look at the number of votes for each political party and, of course, the winner as well. And let's start from APC. APC had 319,224 votes. PDP had 40,543 votes, and the ADC had 12,872 votes. ADP had 1,269 votes, and of course LP had, as Labour Party, 276 votes, and then AAC had 195 votes. SDP had 179 votes. PRP at 163, AA at 126, ZLP at 113, YPP at 98, APP at 61, APM at 59, and NNPP at 35 votes. And then the registered number of voters, we have 988,251, and the accredited voters 384,940. The local government 16, and the total votes cast 382,109 votes. That means, look at the number of registered voters, 988,000, and then about 382,000 voted. So I think there's an issue there, because I think about 600,000 persons did not vote, and then the accredited voters 384,000. The total valid vote, we had 375,777 votes. So let's talk about the voter part in a way, because in some areas people actually came out en masse to vote. We even saw elderly people. I think a woman, she's 100 years old, she also came out to vote. 80, 70, they all came out to vote. But then, I mean, the numbers still does not make sense, I mean, to a lot of persons, because how can we have 988,251 registered voters and about 382,109 people voted, basically? What's your opinion on that?
Oh, well, I guess it's not even a new thing in the country. We've seen voter apathy at different quarters and different states and regions in this country. But, you know, not to say that that's the right way to go. But I tell you for a fact, no matter how much of magic you want to do, even as the umpire, the electoral umpire, you will still need to do a lot of things to ensure that you restore trust in the system. So it's not even about these elections, about every election we've seen. From 1999, it has been dropping. I did a bit of study one time and I discovered the voter apathy was increasing by the day. And it was just because of the distrust in the system. So it wasn't about anybody. It wasn't about whether or not this person is more popular. No, it's not about the candidate. It's now about the people, because some have lost trust. That was the point. If I vote, what difference does it make? And so all of that is also something they're trying to do to build the trust. You know, I say oftentimes that trust is lost in buckets, but it's gained in trickles. So it's very important that you know how to maintain the trust that you have, and maybe to restore the confidence that people can have in the electionary process in the country. It's something that we should look into. But I think I was looking at, if you can give me back that particular result, I wanted to speak to the number of accredited voters, and then maybe the number of the ones that eventually voted. And I think from that point I could see, yes, thank you. Accredited voters is 384,940, you know, across the 16 local government they had, and the total votes that was cast. So you can be accredited. I'm saying this because I've also run elections before. I've presided over an election, and so if you can be accredited and eventually not get into that quota. So if you say 384,940 were accredited, and so the exact vote that you had eventually was 382,109. Actually, I want to say there's a bit of, I can say, yes, there's sense in all of this. I can see, maybe not to, because it's okay to just say, see, the number is not really making a lot of sense, because you're having a very large gulf or gap in the number of registered voters and that of accredited. But I'm saying that we can give ourselves thumbs up for this thing that we are doing, and maybe just to make it more sensible. Rejected voters are just rejected votes eventually are just 6,332.
Yeah, I think you have a very good
way to go for us in the country.
Yeah, looking at the number of accredited voters and those who voted, but it's still a problem, because if you have in a state of where about 988,000 people registered, I mean, why is it that only 384,940 were accredited? It's still a problem. And if you don't tackle this problem, it will reflect in the general election, the presidential election. And it's a problem, because one thing that people talk about is, if people who want to vote are unable to vote, it will affect the number of votes. It will affect the person that we mad. So I think it's something that we really need to work on, especially as we are preparing for the presidential elections and other elections. So we take a short break now, exactly, and we come back to these issues, you know, with the guests. And when we come back, we have our Honorable Molaji Olaye on set with us. We'll be right back. we're back. Thank you for staying with us. Still talking about the Ekiti election and the lessons for Nigeria. I have with me in the studio Honorable Molajo Olaoye, APC stalwart. Welcome aboard this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me, Yemi. I'm happy to be here today. And for the viewer at home, I say good morning to you all.
Thank you so much. So just before we continue on that story, I don't know if you've seen the video, VDM's response to your takes on the protest that happened in Ibadan, last week.
Yeah, I saw it, and I saw a lot of comments. I saw a lot of people bullying me. Well, that is well expected because we are in a media space, and when your view is not in tandem with others' view, they are going to do that. They have done to a lot of people like Wole Soyinka, Atiku Abubakar, and loads of them who have been bullied on the social media. So that is well expected. But the message that I passed is there, and we have after that I've seen a lot of people responding to VDM on their DM as well.
Stopped the protest.
Yeah, yes, you see, that's what I'm saying. Even sometimes you have the nefarious element all around, but how does it? How can we differentiate?